Hard to believe all that mess of starter parts is all picked up, and I reassembled another starter as a good used one. I've got one here that's junk, another one that's junk, and another one that didn't even open up. It was all rusty inside. Check this out. Just putting some tires on for a friend, and I bashed my thumb. And that's what was inside the glove when I took it off my hand. So I will not show you my messy office. I'll never be clean and organized and minimalist. Anybody want a Toyota Camry timing chain holder? Yeah, you borrow things, you don't give them back. Very nice, huh? So I put the starter on the Blazer and I crawled underneath, and the wires were a mess. Somebody has rewired this thing a long time ago and made a royal mess out of the wires. So glow plugs never worked properly. I just got a manual switch. And I crawl underneath. My friend removed the starter, and all the wires are the same color. So I just guessed where they went, and I pushed that one into that yellow connector. It's just pushed in. I got to crimp it. I might change it right there. It looks pretty nasty. So what I'm going to do with my beautifully rebuilt starter, and I did put the starter bracket on, the one that I made. I don't know why I had to weld that one. I just don't get it. But I welded it. It'll never focus. There it is. Beautiful. So everything's all tightened up, all snugged down. Oh, I meant to show you that there's no room here to put bigger bolts in. There's not a lot of meat on the block. GM definitely could have beefed that up, but too late. They're thinking of the 2030s. I heard a show on Freakonomics Radio, on National Public Radio. They were talking with the new CEO of Ford. But the future. I got a battery in here. One battery. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll put the camera underneath and you can listen to it go. I have no idea what's going to happen. Or maybe I do. What do you think's going to happen? What are you looking at? Block heater. I'm trying to see what the starter. There we go. So, let's see what happens. I've only got one battery in it. I don't want to waste my energy and drag a second battery out here. This starter's been acting really poorly for at least a year. All was cranking slow. I thought I had a bad battery cable. Turns out I had a bad starter. What do you think's going to happen? Crank that baby up. I hope. How do you like that? That's only on one battery. Wow. They always need two batteries, and it's been a little chilly here. You need two batteries so you don't overheat that solenoid. You saw it. You watched it. I'm going to go get another battery. Oh, fire truck. I'm going to get another battery. Alternator could use a bit of a tightening. That belt looks kind of tired. I'm going to get another battery, and that's the heavy-duty version. This is not the alternator that came on this diesel. This is a slightly larger metric, and it's the bigger version with those half-moon cutouts in the case. Where are they? Hang on a second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See that notch? For some reason that designates it's the heavier duty version. This is a single wire like the hot rodders use. So the regulator's not hooked up. It just self-energizes. It excites when you rev it up. That's why I got to rev this thing up every time I start it to get the alternator to start charging. And the belt's loose. Plus I was running the batteries down because the starter was dragging because one brush was worn out. So I'm going to put this on pause for a second. I'm going to go get another battery. Don't go away. Good. 10 minutes later, nobody called. If somebody calls, it turns off the recording. So I found a little connector, side terminal bolt. Just tightening up all the paraphernalia here. This truck came somewhat butchered. The pack of Marlboros under the front seat kind of told the tale. It was a beat up truck, but they're pretty hard to come by. Diesel Blazers and diesel Jimmies. I've seen a few. There, that's nice and tight. I still gotta crimp that other bolt on the other side, so. Is there a routine anybody's forgotten about here? Uh-oh, something else I gotta fix. I think it goes like this. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Crank that baby up! I think she'll start. Crank her up! Oh, that starter sounds good. Zing! Just needs a little bit more heat. There goes my glasses. Right there. They're cheapies, so they don't hang on to my ears. 1010! Crank that baby up! That starter sounds nice, just like it did when I rebuilt it, probably 10 years ago. 1,600, 4,200, and crank that baby up! The neighbors must think I'm nuts. Yes! She's a runner. I gotta crimp that wire. Rattle, rattle, clang, clang. All right, I gotta crimp that wire. What a pleasure. Well, that was a weird noise. I just heard clunk, 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 like somebody was knocking on the door. You can barely get around here. Remember when I told you about the one wire alternator? I got excited by revving it up. Well, time to rebuild the alternator. Yep, time to rebuild the alternator. What happens is the slip ring, it may be charging. The slip ring gets corroded when it sits all summer, so it may be charging because the gauge is not always accurate, somewhat like it is in this thing over here. So I'm not going to crank this baby up. You've already heard this one start. I just got to find somebody to sew my patches on my straps. They sell bigger straps at Walmart, bigger ones than these, thicker, heavier ones for $10. I paid $16 for these. Oh well, I went to the local Walmart, they didn't have any. So, success! Now I can plow my yard once I go get my snow plow, which is over here. We shoveled so much yesterday. I gotta tie a chain to that and drag it, and I'll do that shortly. Suburban. I'm gonna go see the body shop today, I think, and see if he can fix this and maybe buff out the paint, fix that up. Alrighty. Thank you for watching. Success.